Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Board of Zoning Appeals hearing. Before we begin, let me introduce some members of town government that act as advisors to this board. To my left is Martin Simon from the town attorney's office. To his left is Blaise Donadio from the senior planner in the town planning department. To his left, oh, Matt's not here tonight. What's that? Yes. To his left is Sabrina Butita from the environment. She's an environmental analyst with the Department of Environment and Waterways. You are here this evening seeking relief from the town zoning ordinance. New York State statutes require that any town that adopts zoning must also have a Board of Appeals to act as a relief valve so that persons can seek relief without the expense of legal proceedings. Regarding procedures, cases will be called in order that they are advertised. When your case is called, please come forward, submit your affidavits and mailing receipts to Mr. Donadio. And then you'll be given the opportunity to explain to the board why you need the variance. After the applicant is done speaking, all interested parties will be given one opportunity and only one opportunity to be heard. Please organize your thoughts and keep your remarks factual and related to the case. Then I will ask the applicant to come back to the podium to answer your concerns. The board will then close the case and reserve decision. After all the hearings are closed, the board will review the cases and decide some of them. Others will be reviewed at a later date. There are 3 ways to find out about your case. First is you can wait until after the public hearing, but there's no guarantee that the board will act on your case tonight. The second way is you can check the website after 11 a.m. Third way is applicants will be notified by mail. After the case is closed, no additional information or testimony can be submitted. Here's what you have to address when you come to the podium. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created. 2, whether the applicant has other feasible alternatives. 3, whether the variance is substantial. 4, whether an adverse impact on the environment will be created. And 5, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. The statute requires the board balance the interests of the applicant and those of the neighborhood or community. The statute further requires that the board shall grant the minimum variance it shall deem necessary and adequate, and at the same time preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. And the board has the power to impose reasonable conditions for granting variances. Okay, we have a few adjournments this evening. First one is case number 19240, ShopRite. Is anyone here for that case? That case is going to be adjourned until February 25th. The second adjournment we have is case 19245, 220 Mount Pleasant Road, LLC. Is anyone here for that case? That one is going to be adjourned to 225 as well. And the third and final adjournment is case 19242, ADT Real Estate Holdings in Fort Salonga. Is anyone here for that case? That case is going to be adjourned to a date to be determined. All right. I believe we are ready. Blaise?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first case on the agenda, case number 19243, Jessica Calabro, 147 Grassy Pond Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property is the east side of Grassy Pond Drive, 43 feet south of Holly Drive. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 33 feet for an existing 183 square foot front covered porch.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Jessica Calabro, 147 Grassy Pond Drive, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Thank you very much. You want to tell us why you're here?
I'm just applying for the front porch. It's, I guess, closer to the street than it's supposed to be, so we're applying for the variance for that.
And this is already partially or completely constructed, so you're not coming any closer than it currently is?
Yeah, it's already there.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
DEW? All right, I'll see if anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application. No? I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. You don't have to. Have a good night. Whenever you're ready, Blaze.
All righty.
John will catch up.
Okay. The next case on the agenda is case number 19244, Michael and Karen Seppi, 44 Shearbrook Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property is the south side of Shearbrook Drive, 286 feet south of Barton Lane. The property is owned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 4 feet, to reduce total side yards from 28 feet to 17 feet, to reduce the minimum distance from any rear lot line from 6 feet to 4 feet for an existing 18-foot by 33-foot semi-in-ground pool and existing 638-square-foot pool deck.
Good evening.
Hi,
Can we have your name and address for the record?
Michael Seppi, 44 Sherbrooke Drive, Smithtown, New York.
Thank you. Want to tell us why you're here?
Like a variance to keep my pool.
And, hold on. Pool's existing,
Yes, sir.
and the setbacks are actually to the deck, not the pool, correct?
The deck, yes, the deck, yeah.
Do you have any pictures of the deck, please?
Yeah, they,
Anyone have any questions? No.
Oh, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
DEW? All right. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No? All right. Entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, hearing's closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19241, Charles and Kristen Bartz, 27 Bowman Lane, Kings Park. The location of the property is the north side of Bowman Lane, 54 feet north of Archer Lane. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 2 feet, to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 21 feet for an existing 80-square-foot plastic shed.
Good evening.
Good night.
Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Charles Bartz, 27 Bowman Lane, Kings Park, New York, 11754.
Thank you. You want to tell us why you're here?
Because we don't have enough storage at the house, and we're looking for these variances to keep the shed, and we don't really have anywhere else to put the shed because all of our property is a hill sloping down in the backyard. So the only flat space that would have not required a variance inside the envelope of the house is all the way at the bottom of the hill, and we have an in-ground pool there, so there's no room for a shed there.
We did receive some correspondence on this one, both for and against. Couple questions we have is, I drove by and noticed that the shed is kind of on a platform.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Because it kind of makes it higher
Because
than,
it's a slope on that side of the property too. We really have almost no flat property. Even our front lawn is sloped down towards the house. So just in order to have a flat space to put the deck, we had to build a platform for it to be on.
do you know the overall height of the shed with it on top of that platform from ground?
I do not offhand, no.
No. And you said you don't have anywhere else that,
No, we had somebody come and look, and they said, basically the only other place that's semi-flat, we have a playground for the kids, and it's also in our side yard, so we'd still have to apply for a variance anyway.
okay, so no alternatives. Okay. Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning.
So the chairman did ask a couple of my questions. I do have one for you. The shed is approximately 8 feet by 10 feet. The decking that it sits on appears much larger than that. Do you know
Yeah.
what the reason for that is?
So because it's on, I needed a way to get in and out of it, basically. Because it's gonna be on that hill, so you would have dropped off my driveway down to like a low spot and then not been able to access the shed, actually. And that's what I need it for, like my lawnmower, my snow blower, all that stuff. I don't have a place to put it.
Is there some kind of a ramp that goes from the driveway to the deck for the shed?
Nothing constructed. I was waiting to see how this turned out, and then I was gonna fill the little gap area with gravel, just so that I could roll things in and out of there.
All right, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this one? Come on up. Could we have your name and address for the record?
Joseph Ashatino, 25 Bowman Lane, Kings Park, New York.
Could you spell your last name for the court reporter?
I'm sorry,
Can you spell your last name for the court reporter?
Aschetino.
Thank you.
Well, I'm the next door neighbor. I've been here for 40 years, never had a problem. My wife and I are getting old. We can't get up the stairs. We're looking to move, and we're looking to sell my house. I had 2 offers on my house because I seen that you had 4 points over there about negative impact on the community. Well, I have contract here from people who want to buy my house, but not under the condition of living next to a garage. And so it's detrimental to my security of my house, that everything that I own is in that house. I'm 82 years old. It's all I have to go by. And what he's doing is he's devaluing my property with this there. And he does have a place to put it on the other side. If you look at a picture, I have a picture there where he has room on the other side. And if he had to file a variance, he wouldn't be bothering anybody else. He wouldn't be interfering with somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? He built this shed and he's got it on a platform. And I don't know if you know, but when I put my garbage out on Sunday night, Monday, the raccoons, they got the whole thing all ripped all around. So I come out and I chase the raccoons. You know where they go? Right under that shed there. If you look at the back end of that shed, it's 2 feet off the ground. My property butts on state property. I got raccoons, I got possums, I got squirrels, I got chipmunks. Everybody's looking for a place to live for the winter. He's created a condominium over there for them, you know? And plus the shed itself, being plastic, is a fire hazard. If you store chemicals in there, which I doubt, which I figure he's gonna put a lawnmower in there and a snow blower and gasoline. If that thing catches fire, it's 10 feet away from my house. And when I looked up on Google the manufacturer instructions on that shed, they recommend 10 feet away from the house because of its flammability. He's 2 feet away from the house. Now he's on a wooden platform that if that combusts, I got to worry about my house going up on fire. And it's not the fact I don't want him to have a shed. I just don't want him to have it where it's influencing my life, where my totalness of my life is in that house, and he's caused me to be able to lose my value. And I have, if there's any doubt to my integrity, I have contract right here for someone to buy my house. But they said, I can't buy it under those conditions. I can't live like that. So he can, if you want to move to the other picture, the other side of his house, like he said, is his playground. There's plenty of room there. Now, if he needs a variance, fine, get the variance, but you're not affecting somebody else's life. And so my wife and I need to downsize, and we need to, I have a 5-bedroom colonial. There's 2 people, you know, and so I have to downsize. We have to go somewhere because she just came out of chemotherapy for 6 months, and she can't get up and down the stairs anymore. So, you know, it's important for me to move, which I'm sure they'd be very happy about that. But that's the position I'm in now. Put the shed on the other side, file your variance, and not affect my, because he gave me 4 points. I'd like to address them, but I don't even.
There's five, actually.
Yeah, You know,
Character of the neighborhood is one.
well, the neighbor, now you talk about walking down the neighborhood over there, you walk down and you see this monstrosity over there, you know, and that's one.
Is it substantial? Is it substantial?
Oh, yeah, you can see from the street, this whole thing here. He's got it right up against his house there, you know what I'm saying? He's only 2 feet away from the house. God forbid that thing goes on fire. And if you look, he's even got wood stored in between the house and the shed. And so, you know, I'm 82. I can't run as fast as I used to. So if that house goes on fire, I'm going to have a problem. So I don't want to begrudge the guy, but please put it on the other side and deal with the variance on that side where you're not affecting my life and my future income, whatever it may be, whatever I save for is into that house. I'm here 40 years. So I'm just asking you not to grant him the variance for that. You know, variances are there because the place is illegal, but that's why you come for a variance to change the law to make it legal, which is beyond my... I understand you make a law that you can't do this, but then you can make another law to reverse that law and make it legal again. I mean, there had to be a reason why they put those statutes in there in the beginning with, because that was the proper way to do it. But now all of a sudden, because somebody complains, it's no longer the proper way to do it anymore. Now we could change it to satisfy someone else. But that's, you know, my opinion. I'm getting old and cranky, you know, I don't know. You know, I just don't understand the system. So I'm only asking that you would deny him his variance. And I don't know what else I could say. I mean, like I said, there's a picture there showing the other side of his house with more room. I submitted it to you.
Yeah, we got it.
But, and in the, thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard on this application? If you care to come back and address its concerns?
I mean, I guess his main concern is the unsellability of his house, but he's listed the house like every year since we've lived there and not put any work into it. I don't think anybody's not buying the house because of our shed. I think it's because their house is falling apart. So I think it's two separate issues. I mean, like I said initially, we don't have anywhere else to put it because otherwise then I need to remove the playground for my children. And then that has no place to go because there's no other flat area on my property. And that was there first before the shed, so that's why we looked to do it on the other side. Plus the fact that my snow blower doesn't really do me any good if it's in my backyard and I need to snow blow my driveway.
And is there any way to lower that shed, or is it right on the ground on the one side?
Yeah, I mean, where it's closest to the driveway, the front end, that's about as low as it can get to the ground. It's just that my property slopes at a steep angle on that side, so that's why it's so high off the ground in the back. You know, it's just a matter of physics. It's basically on the ground in the front where it's coming up to the driveway. And I think I drop about 3 foot of space in the span of like 10 feet there on the side of my yard, so it's a giant hill. My whole property is a giant hill.
Board will discuss it.
All right.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved. Second.
Regularly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, case is closed. Let's have it. It's my preamble. When you're ready, Blaze. Yeah. John, you want to give us the next one?
Oh, I thought I was gonna pull it out.
I think Blaze is waiting.
Sorry.
It's all right. Should be 19234.
Yep.
The next case on the agenda is case number 19234, Arthur Breva, 14 Walnut Road, Kings Park. The location of the property is the north side of Walnut Road, 266 feet west of Longfellow Drive. Excuse me, the property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 22 feet for a proposed 224 square foot porch addition, to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 1 foot, to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 12 feet for an existing 50 square foot shed, to reduce the minimum distance from any lot line from 6 feet to 0 for an existing 198 square foot pavilion, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25% to 29% for an existing asphalt driveway, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the rear yard from 25% to 32% for existing patio pavers, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the southwest side yard from 25% to 76% for existing paving, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface on the northeast side yard from 25% to 86% for existing paving, to reduce the minimum setback of paving from all property lines from 1 feet to 0, to reduce the minimum setback of a 4-foot retaining wall from the property line from 4 feet to 0, to reduce the minimum setback of a 6-foot fence from a 4-foot retaining wall from 4 feet to 0, to increase the height of a 6-foot fence on top of a 4-foot retaining wall from 6 feet to 10 feet for an existing 6-foot vinyl fence on top of an existing block retaining wall.
Mouthful. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Board. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
My name is Paul Beegler from PEB Design Group.
Can we have the applicant first?
Yes, and Art Brera.
Yeah, thank you. Just name and address for the record, please.
Arthur Breva, 14 Walnut Road, Kings Park.
Thank you. Would you like this gentleman to speak on
Yes.
your behalf?
Okay.
Just
We have-
name and address.
Yes,
now.
Paul Beegler, PEB Design Group,
Spelling?
PEB Design Group.
Sorry.
The last name, Beegler, Biegler.
Thank you.
Address, 8 Woodfield Avenue, Fort Salonga, New York.
All right, want to tell us why you're here?
Yes, we have quite a few items here to address. One being the porch, which we're proposing, the front porch, and we believe it has very little impact on the neighbors, but it actually has a positive impact to the neighborhood, and that's why we're doing this porch. The Brevers lived here for over 30 years, and they now want to appreciate the neighborhood, which is going in a positive direction. So that's the reason they want to enjoy the neighborhood with this front porch. So, yes, and according to the, addressing the existing front, rear, and both sides with the overpaving, that has to do with the pool that was built 20 years ago and has a permit and certificate of completion for that pool. And that the pavers all are around the pool, and there's walkways to the pool. So that was the reason. That's been there for quite a long time, 20 years to be exact. And the existing shed has also been there longer than that. It's a 50 square foot shed. It has very little impact. It barely could see it beyond the 6-foot fence. And the existing pavilion, the 198 square foot pavilion, has very little impact on the neighbor, even though it's on the property line. You can barely see it. Well, that's the shed. The pavilion, which I'm calling gazebo in the plans, okay, that is also inside the property line and behind the fence. And I don't believe the neighbors never complained about it. There was no complaints on this at all. It has very little impact to the neighbors. And the 6-foot fence was put in and installed when the pool was constructed. So I don't know why that doesn't have a permit. Okay, and when the pool was built, there was some grading that had to be done, and the retaining wall had to be put in so they could level out the backyard. So there's a 3 to 4 foot, 30-foot section of retaining wall where the 6-foot fence needed to be installed for the pool. Okay? And I think that addresses all the items that we've been denied for. Any questions?
Yeah, a couple. With the, first on the gazebo, I
Okay.
see a note on on the picture of it that says it's 14 feet high, but it doesn't appear to be 14 feet high.
No, it's not 14 feet. I don't know why it's that, but it's 6 feet 8. You do simple math. It's 10 feet, and actually on the plans, it has 10 feet.
Okay. The other concern that I have is, I don't know that it's a concern, but, okay.
An accessory structure is allowed to be 15
15,
feet.
yeah.
Right, correct.
But obviously, when it's
It's
close
not-
to the
it's
property
not-
line, we don't like
Yeah,
14-foot tall
understood,
things
yeah.
close to the property line.
It's a 4-sided roof, hip roof, so it's fading away from the neighbor, and it's not 14 feet. I don't know why. I don't
the
think
width of it
could
is
even get a
14
tape
feet.
measure.
Oh, maybe that's it.
The width is 14 feet, the
Oh,
height is 10
yes,
feet.
right.
If you look at the picture on the screen,
Right.
the 10 feet is next to the arrows pointing from grade up, and the
Correct.
14 feet is the
Wait.
width.
Okay, got it, sorry. The only other thing I was a little concerned about is the paving going right up to the property line. Whenever there's, heavy rains, and if you know, is there drainage that's making its way on the neighboring properties because there's really nowhere for it to
I
go?
believe so. There's gravel around the pool, the paving area. If you look on the survey, it's surrounded by gravel. And there's one particular area on the property, on the lower end of the property, on the east side. There's gravel, and the retaining wall normally has a perforated drain in it. Since it's a maintain, it's not a build, we're taking the assumption that has a perforated. No one's ever complained about it. It's in great condition. If there was water problems, dude, you could see the picture of the retaining wall. Can you bring up the picture? Yes. It's in very good condition for over 20 years. So if there was a water, there would be deterioration in that wall.
Fence on someone else's property?
I don't know, is that? There is a fence that looks like it's over the property line. Is that the neighboring fence? It would be on the west side.
On the west side? That I would, that was the neighbor's? Okay.
Divine
So,
fence?
yeah, that was the neighbor's fence. Is the neighbor's fence.
Anyone else have questions? No? Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina? All right. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No, there being none, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting's closed. I believe that was
Great, thank you, board.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that's it for our cases for tonight. All right, case number 19243, Jessica Calabro.
On case 19243, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
All right. Regularly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion approved, 4-0. Case 19244.
On case 19244, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0. Case number 19241. Do you want to have a little
A
discussion
little
on this?
discussion on this one?
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to maybe visit this?
I saw it myself.
Oh, you
so,
did? Okay.
It is close to the property line, no closer than other ones that we have approved in the past.
Right.
I don't know, what were your guys' take on, what was your take on the shed?
Maybe that's the one with the raccoons and put lattice on the bottom of it, maybe to prevent animals from going underneath there?
Yeah, I mean,
Can we
we
do
could-
something like that, or is that not?
No, we are allowed to impose conditions that are related to the variance.
Yeah,
Um,
so he can enclose
so-
that.
If we
At the
enclose
bottom.
underneath,
So,
if we
yeah,
worry about
and we can
animals
do
going
things,
underneath it.
like request that they put trees along the side of something to mitigate impacts on neighbors. You know, as long as it's related to the variance, we can impose restrictions on it. I was personally sympathetic to the fact that, you know, if there aren't other places to put it, you know, I visited the site, and I do agree the site is sloped, so it is difficult to find other places to put it. If there are, so that kind of goes to alternatives. I don't feel that substantiality is a concern,
Right.
as we've approved hundreds of other sheds with the same distance from the property line. Anything else?
Can I add something?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sure. Before the board makes a decision, I would recommend that all of the members go out to the site and take a look at it.
That's a
I
good idea.
actually have two concerns with it. Number one, the height of the deck that it's sitting on, it's high, and it seems to be higher than the grade of the driveway. I think the height of it can be brought down, and the size of it is much too big for that shed.
Okay.
So I think it would be in the best interest of everybody if the board members went out, took a look at the site, and came to their own conclusion, and then came back and discussed it before making a decision.
Perfect. So
And we can
we'll,
put conditions on,
And
too.
you certainly can put conditions on it.
can everyone visit that site before the next meeting?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, next case is 192, so that one will reserve decision until next meeting. Case 19234, Arthur Breva.
Okay. On case 19234, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, 4-0. Case 19240 is adjourned until 2:25. Case 19245 is adjourned until 2:25 as well. Case 19242 is adjourned until a date to be determined. Next one up is case 18545, 521 Property Management LLC. That was
That's the,
heard way back in 2021, so Blaise,
Findings. I think everybody has a copy of it in their packet, the findings.
we have the findings in
Yeah.
our package, yes. Yes, yes, I did. I was fine with it. Did everyone else get a chance to adopt, or to review the findings for 521?
Yeah.
Adrian, Bill? The findings of fact for case, you looked at them, okay? Got it? All right, does anyone have a problem with the findings, or like to add or take anything out of them? You okay?
You all right? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Is this it? Case 85? Yes. On case 18545, I'll make a motion to adopt the findings.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I vote aye as well, so 4-0 to adopt the findings. Now we need to make a decision as per the findings.
Okay, in case 18545,
Actually, we have a secret. Do we need a secret because it's pending, or
You do not.
we do not need a
You
secret?
do not.
Okay. All right.
okay?
Go
So
ahead.
we're okay with this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, on case 18545, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
No,
No?
this is a denial.
Deny? Where am I?
You're reading the wrong one.
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Take that off the record. Okay, on case 18545, I'll make a motion to deny this application.
Moved and
This-
seconded to not, to deny. We'll poll the board, each person. Adrian,
Yes.
John?
He
Bill?
Can he vote?
None.
Can John
Yes.
vote?
Did John read he read the findings. I think you got all the information on this one, right?
I believe I.
Yeah. You don't have to vote. There's three. All right, so Bill,
Yes.
yes, and I'm a yes to deny.
Okay.
All right, so motion to deny,
3-0.
3-0. For the reasons set forth in the
Yeah.
findings of fact.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Case 19235, George and Irene Cox. That was 114.
That's here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on, do you have it, or? I have it. 19235.
Do you have any problem with it?
Nope.
Okay. On case 19235, I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
Second.
Regularly moved and seconded, I believe, John, your first meeting was the
Yes.
second meeting in January, correct?
Yes, that was, this last meeting.
Okay, so you didn't hear this one,
No.
so, you were a yes, I'm a yes, Adrian's a
Yes.
yes, approved it, 3-0. All right. And the next case is case 18489,
Okay.
it's from 2021, you wanna fill us in, Blaze?
Crap.
This is just an extension, request for an
It's just
extension.
an extension, yeah.
Right.
I don't remember the case, so.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, I'll just say case 84.
It's their first one?
John?
Yes, this is their first
Right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the extension.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll give them an extension until 4/27/25.
Okay.
Okay. And a request for a reopen?
That was already heard.
We already did that?
Yes.
All right. All right, that's it for our meeting this evening, correct?